It's time for Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
A look at the weirdest stories from our weirdest state.
Let's start in Cape Coral, Florida. A guy arrested after he was caught lurking in a neighborhood that had been hit by bonsai tree thieves in some way. These bonsai trees in Florida were going missing, you see. And they made an arrest and charged Troy Dean Stewart, 35-year-old, with one count of loitering. And you're probably saying, oh, he looks kind of normal. Like, what about this guy could possibly have lifted him to the profile at which officers and those looking at him might see him as suspicious? Well, he had underwear around his neck, everyone, which is
not a good look.
Not a good look, not dressed for success. Officers responded to this call from a neighbor who said there was a prowler in their backyard, and he was seen wearing a gray hoodie, black shorts, dark mask on his face as he hid behind a chair. And he also apparently had a pair of underwear around his neck, according to the Coral. What are they? The Cape Coral cops. Yeah.
John wants to know, was it his underwear or somebody else's?
That is a follow-up. He told officers he was confronted by two men, ran away, and was trying to hide from those guys. You know, officer, it's not my problem. The problem is these guys I'm trying to hide from.
And he could have hidden had he not chosen bonsai trees.
Bonsai trees are expensive, $7,000 a piece.
Not easy to hide behind.
This just happened in Oakland a couple days ago.
Yeah, $20,000 worth.
Yeah.
Wow. That's bonsai.
He did tell officers that he was wearing the underwear around his neck to protect his face from the cold. He added that he was in the area to exercise. He said he liked the aesthetic of the area and wanted to avoid cars on the road.
Wow, that is really. I'm going to give him a ding for aesthetic.
I thought you were going to say the
strong.
aesthetic of having the underwear on his head.
Yeah,
I really like to rock the aesthetic.
Yeah, cops don't hear that often, but very good details, Albert. Thank you, sir.
Albert, thank you.
Meantime, on the other side of town, a Florida man walks a mile to get help. That in itself wouldn't be even something we'd report, but he walked a mile after getting shot in the head during an argument, everyone.
Oh, man.
Police arresting a 33-year-old man on suspicion of trying to kill another man during an argument. It happened this couple days ago on Wednesday. Happened in the 100 block of Harder Drive. You know where that is, John?
Yep.
Officers found a 44-year-old victim with an apparent gunshot wound to his head.
How did he make it a mile? Wow.
Exactly. What a guy.
I wouldn't say that was a walk. That was probably more of a stumble.
Yeah, even more impressive.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Hastings and the victim, they identified this guy, Christopher Hastings, as the primary suspect. Apparently he and this victim got into a dispute at a friend's residence, during which Hastings shot him. And that led to the victim staggering a mile with the gunshot wound to the head.
Yeah, he was in shock, obviously.
He walked to another friend's home to alert police. It was a mile he walked. The Holly Hill police chief, Jeff Miller, told media that the victim was hospitalized at the Halifax Health Medical Center in Daytona Beach and was alive, but unconscious as of this report. The dude who shot him, this guy Hastings, is in police custody, as he should be.
A little scary, that guy.
Scary indeed.
Yeah.
If you get shot, just go to the closest house.
Yeah, I don't know about the mile walk. I don't get that. But I'm guessing also if you've been shot in the head, you probably, as noted, are in shock and not thinking so clearly.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Nice stroll.
He is a tough mother, says Walter. It's true. An 8-foot crocodile is spotted sunbathing on a floating dock at a Florida condominium. It's the Bay Colony Club in Fort Lauderdale. And the Crocs are feeling comfy. We have, I mean, that is really something you don't want to get near. We have a shot of it up here on YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast,
I think it was like a public service announcement. You know, the crocodile's just reminding the residents of the colony there, listen, this is not the place to go swimming.
Right. This is my place.
We're here, and here we are. I'm laying on your dock, so don't say you don't know we're in here.
She called the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, the lady who saw this and then videoed this, but she was told that they could not respond. Why? There's a croc on my floating dock. But it's Martin Luther King Day. We cannot come out on MLK Day, they said. That's for real. I didn't make
There's
that
never
up.
been anything like this.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say they can't move them on holidays.
I got that too.
They get to take the holiday too.
We can come out there, man. Do you really, though? You want to disturb
MLK?
Yeah. You want to disturb this croc on MLK Day? Come on. A Florida man accidentally films himself. Well, there's no harm in that. But he films himself stealing the security camera, everyone. That,
nice.
Yeah. So we have a clean look at the guy that we'll share with you. His theft of a surveillance camera backfired because the camera did the very thing it was supposed to do, which is video those people who are trying to get away with something. It's at a construction site. You know, a lot of these construction sites get raw materials and other stuff ripped off. So the construction company bought the camera to keep watch of the property they were working on, and there's the guy.
Look at him.
Yeah.
He's got his mouth hanging open as he disassembles the camera.
Yeah, his photo has
camera for.
The photo has been released. Law enforcement is asking the public's help down there to identify him. Get him, says a Florida woman, accusing her boyfriend of any number of things. She sicked her Pitbull on the ex-boyfriend. Jennifer Flores faces 3 counts in this Pitbull attack.
Uh-oh.
She's this comes out of Flagler County, Florida. I know a lot of people have the map out and they like to put the little pin in the various stories in different parts of the state from which these stories emerge.
They all take their turn.
This is a woman who was taken into custody after her pit bull attacked her date. Cops are saying that apparently they noticed this white Camaro, and a man in blood covered in blood, got out of the Camaro and ran to the officer.
Was he getting handsy with her or rough with her or something?
Well, he said that his ex-girlfriend, who is here, we got a picture of her, Jennifer Flores, she's 34, had her dog attack him in an argument.
Oh.
According to cops, Flores reportedly asked the man to come to her apartment that day, despite the fact that they weren't dating any longer. They argued about his previous relationships. Again, this is from the cops. And then Flores threw his belongings in her bathroom and began choking him with a gold chain that he'd been wearing. The man told officers that he grabbed his things, pushed her aside, but Flores told her pit bull named Wasabi to, quote, get him. Flores grabbed him again. She grabbed him again, and the pit bull attacked him, tearing at his arms and legs.
Oh, gosh.
He ultimately got away, got treatment for his injuries before telling officers that he would drive himself to the hospital. Cops say they went to Flores' apartment, which had blood on the door and living room, along with rubbing alcohol. There was a bottle of rubbing alcohol. The pit bull was caged near the front door. She eventually came to the front door, did Flores, arguing with law enforcement and mentioning that she had been drinking. What a surprise that is.
I'd be willing to bet my lunch that there's alcohol involved.
The bet is off because we've already told you that there's alcohol
Who let the
involved.
dog out?
Who let the dog out? Very well done. The 64-year-old Florida man who was run over by his own truck. I'm loving it. Dwayne Kenneth Musselman was identified as the victim in this incident. He was using his Chevy Silverado, that's a heck of a truck, to remove a large stump. It was on his property but it was not properly placed in park, the Chevy Silverado. And as he was standing outside the driver's side door, the truck began to roll backward down a hill with the driver door open.
Uh-oh.
As the truck continued to roll backward, the driver door knocked Musselman to the ground. He was then run over by the front of the truck.
What?
I wish I could report a happy ending of some kind, a Hollywood ending where he gets up and says, I'm okay, as he dusts himself off.
That's not the case?
He died at the scene.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Florida man throws beer can, fires AR-15 rifle after being upset by drivers speeding in his neighborhood.
What?
Wow.
This is more like it. Excellent. Yes.
You're going to love this. It comes out of Sheriff Grady Judge's jurisdiction. There's a sheriff right there. Yeah. Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd holds up the picture of
what he's got going here is a situation.
You tell him, Grady. The Polk County man facing felony charges. Investigators say his temper raced as a vehicle sped past his house. Grady Judd told investigators that this guy threw a beer can at a vehicle because it was speeding in the neighborhood.
I can understand that anger, right? I mean, have you ever been angry at a speeding driver?
All the
headed
time.
Past your house? Absolutely.
All I am is angry at speeding drivers.
Why are you yelling?
I totally get it. But I don't grab my AR-15 rifle because I don't have an AR-15 rifle. Apparently, he grabbed his AR-15 and shot 3 times, once in the air and twice in the ground, according to Grady Judd.
There's a reason that this place is fun.
And then deputies and Grady Judd say there's a video, showing the entire thing, so he really doesn't have any high ground. He was arrested. He was arrested for aggravated assault. And then Judd said this. We always love a quote from Grady Judd.
Yeah, zinger.
If you're that stirred up, just call us. We'll deal with it, and you won't end up in jail, charged with a felony.
What he's got going here is a situation.
Yeah.
Do you know where Grady Judd was born?
No, where?
Lakeland, Florida. He never left.
I love it. He's cleaning up the community in which he was raised.
Yeah.
Yeah. A Florida man accidentally left his phone in a Walmart bathroom. Then a stranger used that phone to call in a bomb threat.
As one does.
Cody Clements admitted to making the threat.
There's never been anything like this.
After he saw people making similar calls on TikTok. The guy ended up in this Walmart bathroom stall. He used his phone. And I don't know. I guess the phone was abandoned. They arrested this guy. Cody Clements is his name. He's 28 years old, of Northport. And he called in a false report of a bomb at this neighborhood Walmart.
What's the motivation?
I don't know
what's the motivation there? My brain would never work that way.
Well, if they're doing it on TikTok, it must be the thing, right?
That's it. I mean, literally, that's what he's saying. Clements is accused of calling 911, telling dispatchers there was a bomb inside the store, and hung up on the phone. When dispatchers called him back, Clements reportedly said, "Tick-tock, tick-tock."
What an idiot.
Deputies searched the Walmart, connected with the phone's owner, who told authorities that he'd accidentally left his phone inside the store's restroom, the original owner of the phone. And he said he saw through his Bluetooth that 911 was, 911 was being called. So they make the arrest, and that was thanks to the guy who was the original owner of the phone. And they see this guy Clements enter the restroom after the phone's owner left. This is all from security cameras, and they made the arrest. Authorities say the suspect admitted to making the threat after he saw people making similar calls on TikTok. Wow. Well,
it sounds like an old-fashioned, like an old Batman villain doing something very innocent, but it's kind of a big deal.
Right.
Yeah, these bomb threats these days, I think they're kind of, well, you know me. I have zero tolerance.
They're lacking originality.
Yeah, but it's true.
It's been done, right?
Yeah,
especially
exactly.
in Florida. Come on.
I mean, why don't
step
you
up.
order pizza or something? Do something. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's like Bart
Instagram.
Simpson.
Deidre, breaking news from the USA Today. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
Yeah, they're not dead. Falling iguanas in the forecast in Florida this weekend. Yeah, the cold weather causes the iguanas to essentially they're paralyzed and they just fall out of these trees. Yeah. They're an invasive species, these iguanas, I think. So they're not used to the cold down there.
So
Florida man. What's that?
So are the residents.
I'm glad I asked you to repeat that. That was funny. All right. So, look, we don't want to pick a favorite, but we kind of have to. We finished strong, but they're all pretty good competitors. Albert, what is in the chat? What's it between in the chat? What are the choices in the chat?
I did steal some of these. I did see Croc on the dock. That was a viewer's suggestion, but that's on there. Underwear Bonsai Thief, Grady Judd, Buzz Angry Florida Man, and Bomb Threat on Found Phone.
All right. Those are the choices. You can vote live in the chat, and you can also vote after the fact if you're listening in delay, which most people do. Please vote in the comments. We're always curious to see what people's favorites are. There's a Croc on my dock and other stories from Dr. Seuss, says Eric. I'll remind you before we pick a favorite of those that you have just heard. The Florida man who, again, accused of being the bonsai tree thief, found with underwear around his neck as he hid from cops. He says he was hiding from people chasing him. The Florida man walking a mile to get help after he was shot in the head during an argument. The 8-foot crocodile spotted sunbathing on the floating dock at that Florida condo. They couldn't remove him because it was MLK Day. No one was working. Florida man accidentally films himself stealing a camera at a security site.
Yeah.
Get him, said a Florida woman accused of sicking her Pitbull on her ex-boyfriend. The 64-year-old man run over by his own truck. The Florida man throwing the beer can at passing cars, firing an AR-15 rifle at those cars because he was upset that drivers were speeding in his neighborhood. And finally, the Florida man finding the Walmart bathroom cell phone abandoned, and he decided to call in a bomb threat. What is your favorite? I'll ask you, Kim.
Kim, how are you?
Well, we haven't had an alligator in a while. There's a dispute in the chat whether that's an alligator or a crocodile.
Oh, yeah. Albert's our expert.
Oh yeah, crocodile. It was a invasive species, but gators are native to Florida. Crocodiles are invasive, but that was a crocodile.
It was a croc.
Yeah.
Albert, thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
So I like the croc on the dock, but I think I have to go with the AR-15 guy mad at passing speeders.
AR-15.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, John Daly?
I'm going to go with bonsai theft only because it has so much in it. And he didn't stop with just the bonsai. He also, got fashionable and put the underwear on his head.
The underwear does put him in a pretty competitive position. Yeah. How about you, Albert?
I'm the same with John, and the viewers also kind of agree. But it's like the classic Mad Libs. John likes the Mad Libs.
Thank you.
Stolen bonsai thief with underwear around head is
check.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. I am going to go only because it's so Americana and Florida. There's a beer can being thrown, and there's an AR-15 rifle, which is so American now. And there's some drunk a-hole shooting at other people who he thinks are a-holes. I'm going with the AR-15 rifle. What's the leader in the voting, Albert?
The bonsai tree guy. The underwear.
Bonsai tree guy gets the... Wow. Well, that's Friday Fabulous Florida for today.
This has been Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
Y'all come back now, here.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.